Erica and Sharon are sisters who began their grief journey in 2006 when Erica's 10-year-old son Austin drowned. Together, they participated in a grief education program, were so moved by this experience, they studied and became specialists so they could help the brokenhearted find recovery. In 2015, tragedy struck their family once again when Erica's oldest son Donovan was killed in a motorcycle accident. Erica and Sharon are committed to sharing their experiences of love, loss, and healing through this podcast. Now your grief specialists, Sharon and Erica.
Hey friends, welcome to Healing Starts with the Heart, the show where it's all about you, the griever, and your broken heart. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and my co-host today is Erica Honore. She is my much younger sister, and she will tell you that.
Much younger.
We're so glad that you joined us today. We are grief specialists, and we travel around the world helping people with their broken heart and helping them to discover what grief really is. You know, when our first grieving experience happened, nobody was there to help us or share with us what was really going on. Nobody came to us to tell us, hey, this is what you need to do. We wish every single day that we had met someone like us right away.
One of the challenges is because we were both grieving.
Yeah.
So how can you help someone if you're in pain yourself? Really, we were like, it was like the blind leading the blind.
Right.
We thought we were doing right by one another, but
Right.
we were constantly making mistakes and sometimes making it worse.
We did find a grief recovery specialist
Yeah.
almost a year after Austin died, and she changed our lives. And thank you, Susan. We thank
For
you
the better.
that. Yay! We became grief recovery specialists, and now we help grievers. The topic of our show today is
Our commitment was supposed to be forever.
we started out with the show being called
I do.
Our I do was supposed to be forever, but we realized that sometimes people commit to each other without having that license,
Right.
which is not necessarily you need it to experience grief, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely want to address divorce, but this is about the breakup of any long-term romantic relationship.
When you say, I'm committed to you 100%, and that relationship falls apart, it is literally like ripping your heart out.
It's devastating.
It's devastating. Yeah, devastating. Absolutely devastating. Yeah, for sure. We meet a lot of grievers who don't even know what the next step is to do. They don't even know my relationship is in turmoil. We're about to break up. I don't know what to do. And sometimes they don't associate it with grief.
Because as a society, we're taught grief is about death.
Yeah.
We're not taught that it's any time your heart is broken over any scenario.
Right.
But the other thing I want to say is, you know, when there's times when the couple can feel the relationship is not working, and there's
Yes.
fighting, there's turmoil, there's strife. But sometimes one person in the relationship is blindsided
Yeah.
and doesn't expect it.
Yeah.
And they are the ones left and completely broken by the sadness.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a client that we've worked with just recently, just last year, and that was his case.
Yeah.
He was completely blindsided by the fact that she just came in one day and said, I want you out. And he had no idea. Interesting enough, as we've walked the journey with him, we walked the journey with him last year, he discovered a lot of areas that, number one, he was broken in. Number two, he was bringing that brokenness into this new relationship, right? Into this marriage. And number three, he was bringing bad habits from other relationships into here.
Yeah.
And now he sees where he had made a lot of mistakes.
You have to take an inventory of your heart to look at the situations that caused you pain in past relationships. You have to fix those. Otherwise, you're just on this cycle of, you know, bad habit after bad habit in every single new relationship you get involved in.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's say you have, in that past inventory, you have some junk from a relationship that didn't quite work out, right? You have a parent's marriage that you saw that was just devastating. It was a terrible marriage.
Yeah.
And then maybe you lost a childhood friend. When you come to the relationship, guess what you're bringing with you?
All of that.
You're bringing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you set up your new relationship.
Yeah.
You go through the honeymoon stage and everything is great. And then all of a sudden you realize, ooh, maybe this isn't the way I thought it was going to be. Maybe this isn't what I thought was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not the man or woman that you always thought you were because of so much pain.
Right. Right.
Or your spouse doesn't think you're the person that they thought you were because you constantly bring this pain
Right.
to
Correct.
the relationship.
That is true.
We have met so many couples that when they got to the relationship, they were covering up the fact that they were in pain, or they had an addiction problem, or
Right.
that they were raised and had child abuse in their past. They never share that. But when it comes out, the partner doesn't know how to help them. And quite often they want to try to fix them.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do with that aspect of it.
I'm not sure if the couple we worked with recently, that they were a blended family, and the husband had such a negative experience when he had a step parent.
Yeah.
And when he saw his new wife trying to parent his biological child, it took him right back to the negative experience he had as a child.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be in the relationship
Yeah.
anymore because he felt like he needed to protect his child. You absolutely bring old hurts into your new relationship.
Absolutely.
And if you don't address those, it's not going to get any better.
Right.
And you won't have a successful relationship.
No. We worked with a couple recently that the parents, for the wife, the parents' marriage was terrible. It was constant fighting, always arguing, a lot of drinking that went on in the household. And she came into her marriage thinking, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. And because she thought that she wasn't going to allow that to happen, every time something even seemed familiar, she would fight back against her husband and fight with him. Consequently, she came to grief recovery on her own. We never did the grief work with the husband. We only worked with her. We worked with her broken heart. All of these losses that she had associated with her dad and her mom and their marriage, and we just helped her with that. Guess what, friends? They're still married today, and they have this amazing marriage.
Because what happens is that's in that situation, when you free yourself from the pain, you make changes. You feel better.
Yeah.
So you are behaving differently. And your spouse or your partner, whoever, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, reacts to those changes.
Yeah.
And then they inadvertently change. Ideally, yes, it'd be great if both people participated in grief recovery, but it doesn't have to be that way in order for the relationship to still be a success.
Absolutely. I have grievers that women and men, we've had both, that just come in and work on their own brokenness. They can step back into the relationship, and the relationship is anew.
Right.
Because all of the junk that they were bringing up, the arguing that they were doing because he didn't take out the trash on the right day, because her dad always took out the trash on that day, that's not there anymore.
Right.
Recovery is an inside job. Recovery is about what's broken in your heart. It is not about you as a couple.
Correct.
It is not about your marriage. It is not about your relationship, your commitment. It is about you.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to fix yourself. And hopefully in doing so, you will inspire your partner to want to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. We've worked with couples recently where I had just put a post up, and a lady responded to the post. And the post was on forgiveness. And she contacted me and said, hey, how does this forgiveness thing work? Long story short, I started working with her. Erica started working with the husband. Their marriage is back on track.
Right.
They both had so much junk. Right?
Yeah.
They had so much junk that they were bringing to the table. We don't realize that what people call junk or leftover bags of
Baggage.
rocks or baggage is loss.
Yeah. And pain.
It's brokenness.
Yeah.
It's incompleteness.
Right. Right.
It's incompleteness.
I think that it is so important to get this message and to drive this home again. If you are in a relationship that has broken up, you are grieving.
Yeah.
It's not a question. I'm telling you for a fact, you're grieving.
Yes,
You
you
don't
are.
have to ask if am I grieving. If you have broken up from your relationship, your heart is broken. You're
Yeah.
sad. And just like all the other episodes where we talk about grief as a result of a death, you still have work to do.
Yes.
You have to mend your heart
Yeah.
before you can move on into a successful relationship and really be a better quality human.
For sure. There's another aspect that happens. We had a client, a woman, come to us this year, and her husband were in marriage therapy, but she wasn't really sure she was going to stay with the marriage. And so one of the things we do, we often tell, first of all, we don't do marriage therapy. We don't do it.
Right.
We only do grief recovery. So we can't make that decision for you, and we cannot help you make that decision. That decision you have to make yourself.
Completely.
And so the instructions we give our clients is this: do not make a decision until you're done with your grief work.
That's right.
Do your own personal grief work before you make any life-changing decisions. And she was a beautiful woman, and we loved working with her. We would laugh so much on just as a girlfriend and a sister relationship that we built together. But she got down into the trenches and she did the hard work. And at the end of that, she discovered for herself that the marriage was definitely over. That what brought her to the marriage and why she stayed there was not what she thought it was going to be. And she came to the conclusion on her own, and she did a divorce. She got a divorce. And about 6 months after the divorce was final, she came back and grieved the divorce with us.
Right.
Her final step. And so this doesn't always save every marriage, but it is a great tool if you want it to be.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And if you've made the decision to move on, it is also a great tool.
Yes, because when you come out of a relationship, of course you're sad and you're heartbroken over it, but there's still automatically that hope for something better in the future.
Yeah.
You hope to have, everybody wants the Hallmark relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, because
I wanted it.
Yeah. So in order to have that, what better gift to give to yourself than to do this work, free yourself from the pain and all the old hurts, and attract a better quality person and partner.
Absolutely. The other aspect of doing the work is you have to not only do this for yourself, but you have to do this for your children. I want to implore upon you how important this is. You need to be whole and complete for yourself, 100%. But if this marriage is going to fall apart and is going to break apart and there are children involved, what a better way to show them that we can be okay here by doing your grief work and showing them how to deal with pain and loss, not just avoiding, not just continuing to stay
Whether you
broken.
stay together or not.
Yeah.
You're showing them a healthier alternative than the bickering and the arguing and the petty, no, you can't have the dog on Thursdays. You know?
Exactly.
And the thing is, not just your young children, but I got an email from a young man. I mean, I want to say mid-20s. And he kind of, the way the email was worded, it's like he's choosing to not ever be in another relationship because he saw his parents go through a nasty divorce and he had his heart broken by a long-term girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to go through that again. So he said, I'd just rather be alone. And that made me so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sad because when your heart gets broken, it is so painful for any reason, whatever the reason. It is so painful. But to be so scared of the pain and the work that you need to do that you would just choose to be alone,
Yeah.
that's really sad.
Yes.
And then my other point was, parents need to see this can affect your children into their adulthood.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And why not show them recovery?
Yes.
Show them a different way out instead of just the normal, typical way that we see. I also want to speak out to all the people who've had divorce years ago and are still complaining
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
their ex,
Yeah.
or fighting over the dog,
Right.
or fighting over the child support that didn't come in on
Or
time.
the marriage. There might be the adult child getting married and the exes are fighting
Oh, my
because the
gosh.
wedding is coming up of the child.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have we heard that
Oh,
one?
yeah. It's just huge. If you still have residual pain left in your heart from an old divorce, or you're still dealing with it on a daily basis, this grief recovery is for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. We just worked with a woman who has been divorced over 7 years, and she said she always is just bad mouthing her ex. She bad mouths her kids. She's bad mouthing everything. She's living a life that is less than happy or fulfilling.
Right.
It's not the life she wants it to be. And we just walked through grief recovery with her. And it's kind of why we decided to do this show.
Yeah, because I think there's such a false belief that divorce is the result of that causes grief.
Yeah.
People don't think, they just because what does society say? You'll get over it. Just give it time.
Just give it time.
There's plenty of other fish in the sea.
Go get another fish.
Yeah. Just get yourself back out there. You'll
Yeah.
feel better in no time. It's all bad information.
Such bad information. I'm telling you, when I hear that, I'm just like,
Yeah.
So I guess the one thing, what is the final thought we want to leave them with?
The final thought is, number one, you are grieving. So let's get that off the table. Number two, you have work to do. Get yourself together. Get on our website, healingstartswiththeheart.com. Schedule a mini session, and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. That's the first step. You have to choose recovery. I laugh because we're kind of taking a different approach right now. It's like, hey guys, we are here for you. You don't have to suffer alone, and you don't have to suffer any longer. We've walked this journey before you. We have aspects of our life where both of us, our marriage struggled at different points.
Yes.
We bring that experience to the table.
Absolutely.
We've lost children. We have other losses in our life. We bring it all to the table. How do you schedule a mini session? You go to our website, healingstartswiththeheart.com, and you click on the button that says mini session. When you get there, we will be on the other end. You can do those live and in person online. We can do them in person here in California or in Dallas, or we can do them over the phone. You can really just reach out to us through an email at sisters@healingstartswiththeheart.com.
And just because you click on the link and schedule a mini session, does that mean we're going to force you to, walk down this path? No. We're just going to share our grief.
And one session with us will make a difference in your life. I promise you. Thank you.
Thank you. And also, if you want to find more episodes of our podcast, they're on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
We are honored to be your grief specialist.
Bye, friends.
Have a great day.